Good evening, everybody, and welcome to today's session of Roznama, the daily newspaper analysis. Today is a Sunday, and today is the 29th of March. And whenever it is a Sunday, we tend to have a little lighter days in terms of newspapers. All right. Okay. The first one is that now the Andhra Pradesh government has asked the center to notify Amravati as the only or the sole capital of Andhra Pradesh. Now, why did this thing happen? You people must remember that in 2014 we had the state of Telangana that came into existence, or that was established. All right. Okay. So now Telangana was established after bifurcating Andhra Pradesh into two states, one Andhra Pradesh and the other was Telangana. Now, when Telangana was bifurcated, the capital of Andhra Pradesh, which was Hyderabad, it fell in Telangana. Okay, so now the capital is in Telangana, so naturally the other state, that is Andhra Pradesh, it had to establish another capital for itself. Now this particular Andhra Pradesh Telangana reorganization system, it basically said that for the next 10 years, that is from 2014 to 2024, Hyderabad was to serve as the combined capital of both Andhra Pradesh and Telangana. And in this entire span of 10 years, Andhra Pradesh had to come up with another capital of its choice, okay, for its state of Andhra Pradesh. Now, in the span of 10 years, Andhra Pradesh came up with various plans. One of the plans was that Andhra Pradesh was to establish 3 different state capitals. One was supposed to be an executive state capital, one was supposed to be a legislative state capital, and one was supposed to be a judicial state capital. All right, and for all of this, it suggested one would be in Visakhapatnam, one would be in Amravati, and one would be in Kurnool. All right. Then somehow this did not materialize, and finally, 2 years after the 10-year deadline was over, the Andhra Pradesh government has asked for notifying Amravati as the sole capital of Andhra Pradesh. All right. So the State Assembly of Andhra Pradesh has passed a resolution seeking to amend Section 5(2) of Andhra Pradesh Reorganization Act of 2014. All right, and has said that only Amravati should be notified as the capital of Andhra Pradesh. All right. Okay. Then the next one is that the Prime Minister has formally inaugurated the Jewar Airport. This particular airport, it began its construction, or the foundation stone of this airport was laid in 2021, and the project has formally been completed, although the entire construction is not over yet, but the one wing of it has been opened and it would start catering to civilian air transport. So this particular Jewar Airport, which is in Noida, is important in the sense that it is the largest airport of India and is also going to be serving as the largest airport of Asia as well. All right, and this Jewar International Airport has been built by the government in collaboration with Zurich Airport International Organization. Okay, so keep this in mind, and also I believe this makes UP a state which has 5 international airports. All right. Okay. Then the next one is on NASA's Artemis mission that is set to take place, and this Artemis mission is going to be NASA's next lunar mission, and it is going to be a manned mission. They are going to be sending 4 people to space. This particular manned mission to moon over 50 years, after 50 years, is particularly significant in the sense that the entire crew is very diversified, which most generally US does not do, but this time the crew is very diversified in the sense that we have a female crew, we have a person of color in it, we have a Canadian in this particular crew as a part of this 4-member crew, and obviously one is an American person, right? So it is a very diversified crew this time, which generally moves away from the trend of US. The first mission to moon was Apollo, and that Apollo mission was an all-white crew, had all American. All right. Okay. Then the government has revised the PM E-Drive initiative or the PM E-Drive scheme. Firstly, the full form of the scheme is important. Prime Minister Electric Drive Revolution in Innovation Vehicle Enhancement Scheme. All right. What is the purpose of this scheme? The purpose of this scheme is to diversify or to basically increase the use of electric vehicles on road for daily commutation and for maximum commutation, simply to foster initiatives which could reduce India's carbon footprint and could facilitate India's entire initiative to root out climate change. All right. So this scheme has now set a new deadline for e-scooters and e-rickshaw, and has also and also other three-wheelers and two-wheelers. So the center has revised guidelines, and the entire scheme was had a line around 10,900 crores of rupees. And under this scheme, two-wheelers registered till July 2026 and three-wheelers registered till March 31st, 2028 would be eligible for incentives. What were the incentives? The incentives simply being that they would be given certain discounts on purchase of it. So the maximum ex-factory price to avail an incentive is capped at 1.5 lakh for electric two vehicles and 2.5 lakh for electric three vehicles, which is e-rickshaws and e-carts. All right. So this has been increased as an incentive cap for people, or basically the people belonging to the lower income groups who are purchasing this to facilitate their employment. Okay. All right. Then the next one is that this entire war that is happening in West Asia has further expanded, and expanded in the sense that we also have Yemen now jumping into the war. All right. Okay. Now, this entire crisis in Iran had certain ripple effects in the neighboring countries, where there were certain militant groups who rose up in support of Iran against this US-Israeli war. All right. So the entire war that happened between Israel and Iran, one of the reasons for Israel supporting this war against Iran is simply that Iran undertook or gave massive support to a lot of anti-Israel groups in the West Asian region. And these anti-Israel groups meant groups like Hamas, groups like Hezbollah, and groups like Houthis. All right. So Hamas is that one group which is fighting for, which is an offshoot of PLO and is fighting for liberation of Palestine, which is based in Gaza. Hezbollah is based in Lebanon, and Israel and Lebanon are also in war as of now because of all the anti-Israel strikes that Lebanon is undertaken under Hezbollah. And Houthis are the ones who are based in Yemen. Houthis are also undertake piracy activities in the Red Sea region, and they do capture a lot of ships that are passing through it. So they are also notorious for undertaking this pirate activities as well. Now they have fired missiles on Israel. All right. So this entire theater of war in West Asia is expanding by the day, including many countries. Okay. All right. The same piece of news from the Hindu as well. Okay, then the next one is that just 2 days back, on the occasion of Ram Navami, we did see that the new Prime Minister of Nepal took an oath and was sworn in, and Balendra Shah was the new Prime Minister of Nepal. And the entire election in Nepal took place after the Gen Z protest that had happened in Nepal just 6 months back. The protest was mostly because the people of Nepal, they were facing lack of employment, too much of inflation, and also there were allegations that the present governmental structure is based on nepotism and is based on favoritism, that whosoever is in the government is only undertaking recruitment of their relatives, etc., into various government offices, various government jobs, which is resulting in a lot of unemployment for other aspiring youths in Nepal. So all the young people in Nepal who categorized as the Gen Z population, they used to voice their opinions on various social media platforms, which were also restricted or shut down by the Nepalese government, which is acted as a trigger point for the entire protest. And then back then, 6 months back, the Prime Minister of Nepal was KP Sharma Oli. So KP Sharma Oli undertook massive suppression of the revolt, which resulted in killing of some, which resulted in killing and deaths of the Gen Z protesters. All right. So on the charges of deaths of Gen Z protesters, the former Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli and Home Minister Ramesh Lekhak have been arrested. All right, and these arrests were ordered after Balin Shah took oath as the new Prime Minister of Nepal. Okay, so the same piece of news from the Indian Express as well. Okay, then another important one is that the president of Ukraine, Vladimir Zelensky, he has signed a 10-year defense deal with Saudi Arabia and Qatar. What are these deals about? These deals are to exchange drones that Ukraine has started making within in Ukraine, and these are basically drones which are adept with new cutting edge technology, which can help in missile interception that any country faces. So Ukraine undertook development of these drones to uh, aid its entire war against Russia, and now Ukraine has signed a pact with Qatar and Saudi to give these drones to them, and in exchange, Vladimir Zelensky has asked for missiles of Qatar and Saudi to aid his war against Russia. Coming to the editorials for today. The first one is a new CAPF bill. Okay, now what are CAPF? CAPF is, the full form stands for Central Armed Police Forces. All right, these Central Armed Police Forces, they are categorized as paramilitary forces. Okay? They are categorized as paramilitary forces. What are paramilitary forces? Paramilitary forces are a special category of armed forces which aid in India's internal security as well as external security. They are more equipped from the regular police forces in the states and a little less equipped than the armed forces of India. All right, but they are good, well adept, capable forces that help maintain India's internal as well as external securities. There are around 8 different types of services which are under the Central Armed Police Forces, and each type of service helps in tackling one respective threat in different regions of the country. All right. So there was a bill that was introduced in the Rajya Sabha on 25th of March, and this bill was named as the Central Armed Police Forces General Administration Bill. As per this bill, it was said that in the Central Armed Police Forces, 50% of the total posts in the rank of Inspector General and at least 67% of the posts in the rank of Additional Director General and 100% posts in the rank of Special Director General and Director General shall be filled by the Indian Police Services officers, all right, the IPS officers, which are recruited by UPSC. All right, this has drawn criticism from former CAPF officers. All right, okay. Now, if the article moves further, and the article has given us a good insight into how many civil servants, that is the IPS officers, are actually recruited into the CAPF higher posts, and whenever somebody joins the CAPF forces, they enter at the level of an additional director, and ADP, basically an additional director of police, and sorry, an assistant commandant of police, ACP, an assistant commandant of police, and various promotions throughout the year, which are trends through previous years, basically show us that these assistant commanders, it takes around one assistant commander to reach the post of a director general in any of the CAPF forces, around 16 years to get promoted and to reach the post of a DIG or an IG or a DPP. Whereas an IPS officer, it only takes him around 3 to 4 years to get promoted to this level. So this is very discriminatory against the CAPF forces and the IPS through this the civil services of police through the UPSC. So the erstwhile CAPF officers, they have criticized this in the sense that it does not allow the ACPs or the assistant commandants who get recruited to the CAPFs a chance to grow quickly and achieve these promotions. Right? That is why they have opposed this new bill. And also the article gives you the various 8 categories of Central Armed Police Forces and the functions that they perform. So BSF is the one that is that are aligned along the Pakistan and Bangladesh borders. We have CISF, which are for giving protection to the strategically important industries in the country and airports. Then we have CRPF, which are basically for internal security, and they are the ones that are appointed in the Naxal regions in Chhattisgarh, etc. They are to root out left-wing extremism. Then we have Sashastra Seema Bal, which guards the Nepal and Bhutan border, and we have the ITBP, that is the Indo-Tibetan Police Force, which is along China. We also have one Assam Rifles, which is in the Ulfa regions or the Bodoland regions of Assam. Okay, so do go through this one. All right, then the next article, it's a deep dive on the recent Supreme Court judgment, where the Supreme Court said that anybody who that people belonging to the religions or practicing the religions of Hinduism, Buddhism, and Sikhism could only avail the benefits of a scheduled caste in the country. And in case any person belonging to a scheduled caste category converts into some other religion like Islam or Christianity, they wouldn't be able to avail the benefits that are entailed to the scheduled caste category of the people, benefits in the sense reservation, and also other provisions of in terms of discrimination of any person on terms of their caste on grounds of caste, as provided for under the SC/ST Atrocities Act of 1989. The case came up because of a pastor who had converted to Christianity, and he belonged to the Madiga Hindu community from Andhra Pradesh. He converted to Christianity, became a pastor in the last 10 years, but still he was discriminated against on the basis of his caste. So he sought relief under the SC/ST Atrocities Act of 1989, which was denied to him on grounds that he no longer belongs to the Hindu caste or the castes of a Hindu religion or the religion of Buddhism or Sikhism, the followers of which are only permitted to seek relief under the SC/ST Atrocities Act. And for the scheduled tribes, they basically say that as for entailing relief under the scheduled tribes category, your traditions, customs, other practices must still align with that of your respective scheduled tribe. Okay. Okay. Then just I think 4 or 5 days back, India gave its new nationally determined contributions. So I've taken this up in detail yesterday also for you all. So now we've changed our previously nationally determined contributions, which we had submitted in par with 2015 Paris Agreement. And these the previous NDCs, they were to be met by 2030. Now the new ones are to be met by 2035. What are the new ones? It says to have 60% of India's installed electric capacity from non-fossil fuels by non-fossil fuel sources by 2035, reducing 47% of intensity of emissions per unit of GDP from 2005 levels by 2035, and also to increase our carbon stock, carbon capture, carbon storage from carbon sink to 3.5 to 4 billion tons, which previously was 2.5 to 3 billion. All right. Then the article moves ahead to tell us that how other countries have aligned their targets and how these targets are pretty realistic for India, because one of the targets, that is to have 50% of our total installed electric capacity by 2030 from renewable sources of energy. India achieved 5 years ahead of its target in 2025. Then these NDCs were to be submitted after were to be submitted last year in the Belém Conference of Parties of UNFCCC, but India and Argentina were the only two countries who did not update their NDCs last year. So now India has finally updated its NDC. All right. Okay, then the next article is a very good article which is basically a take of the Spanish Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez on the present war that has been ongoing in Iran, all right, in West Asia. Now, at the beginning of the war, we did see a lot of news pieces where the president of United States of America, Donald Trump, he had actually sought help from his NATO allies and also other European powers to permit excuse me, to permit the West European countries. The US president had basically asked his NATO allies and other Western European countries to permit United States of America to use the military bases of these European countries in Europe, as well as those bases which were closer to Iran, to strike Iran using US missiles, etc. Spain was one such country which had denied the use of its bases to to United States of America to strike Iran, and Spain had opted a very clear stand, saying that it was not interested in being a part of the war, because in the previous war that US undertook in West Asia, which is the Iraq crisis of 2003, Spain did participate in the war and drew a lot of criticism from the people of Spain. All right, so here he has had on his anti-war stance, he has given it in the form of 3 no's. The first no is no to breakdown of international law that protects everybody. The second no is to assuming that the world can solve its problems only through conflicts and forms. Does not agree with this. And finally, the third no is to repeating the mistakes of the past. That is basically the mistake of Spain of 2003. All right, so as it is, he is treading over water as of now, treading over thin ice in Spain, because the government, as it is not, the people are as it is not very happy with him. He's not been able to regulate a budget in Spain for many years, for the past few years, and that is why he does not want to trigger the people of Spain further, which with such a support to United States of America in this particular war. Right? And this particular article is on Mohammad Bagher Zolkadar, the newly appointed head. He was the speaker of the parliament of Iran, and he has been appointed as the new head in terms of the Iran IRGC and IRGC, where he is actually heading the entire decision-making process and everything of IRGC against the war in the United States of America. So this article gives us a good life history of Zolkadar and tells us that how he rose to power and his various personality traits and characteristics. All right. Now, this particular article is on the architectural style of the Golestan Palace, which is also known as the King's Palace in Iran. And this palace is also a UNESCO World Heritage Site. And it was this palace which suffered major attacks and was basically suffered a major destruction as it was bombed during the ongoing crisis. All right, so the article gives us a good understanding into the architectural style of this particular palace, which is a 16th century palace, works on the Safavid dynasty's architectural style, and a lot of elements that are used in this particular palace's architectural designing is also something that the Mughals brought into India with themselves. For example, the practice of putting in gardens, the practice of jharokhas or balconies into the entire palace structure, and other then four plan structure, which is also known as the charbagh style, and the hushed behave, that is eight paradise architectural style that the Mughals incorporated into the Indian architectural style, which later also also came to be known as the Islamic architectural style in India. Okay? Okay, then quickly coming to news in brief for today. The first one is that a week or 2 weeks back, we had the first two tankers coming into India. India had around 22 LPG tankers that were stuck beyond the Strait of Hormuz, and these are the third shipments that have been released from the Strait of Hormuz by Iran, and the names are BWM and BW Tahir. Okay. Then the next one is, again, just wanted to flag Zojila Pass for you all. So Zojila Pass connects Kashmir to Ladakh, specifically connects Srinagar to Leh. All right, it has been met with an avalanche. What is an avalanche? Avalanche is a natural disaster which basically entails the downward movement of ice or glacier, which causes death and destruction. All right, so 7 people have died. Then the chief economic advisor Anant Nageshwar has basically favored and flagged that our our entire economic growth forecast of 7 to 7.4% has been is now under stress because of the present ongoing crisis in West Asia. Previously, the forecast was made before the attacks began, and now, and then it was forecasted to be 7 to 7.4%. Now, with oil prices rising, too much expenditure in terms of energy, etc., is going to threaten this predicted growth. Okay, then the vice president and has paid tribute to Birsa Munda. And Birsa Munda is that one person who undertook massive struggle against the British, and Birsa Munda and his birth anniversary is also celebrated as a National Tribes Day in the country on 15th of November, right? So do keep in mind Birsa Munda. Then again, Zojila Pass. Again, the Prime Minister also paying tribute to Birsa Munda. Sorry, the Vice President only. Sorry. Then yesterday we had Earth Hour. Earth Hour has been started by World Wildlife Fund. It was started 20 years ago. The purpose of Earth Hour is to switch off all lights, electricity, at least for 1 hour in the evening. It is mostly, I think, from 7 to 8 p.m. in the evening on the 4th Saturday of March. And the purpose of doing this is to save electricity especially that is generated from burning of fossil fuels. All right. And this Earth Hour was observed, is observed on the 4th of March, and 4th Saturday of March, and yesterday was the 4th Saturday of March when it was practiced, and the red and the India Gate also saw switching off of lights. Okay, so that is all for today's newspaper analysis, and as we all see next. Thank you, children.